This is a message that I would like to offer and share with those beautiful souls out there who might be considering in one form or another a religious life, whether to become a nun or a priest or a friar, a canon, a monk, a brother, a sister, whatever. If you are considering entering into a religious institutional life, I want to share with you a little bit of what I have learned about that, and then you take that home, you digest that, and let it work its way through your awareness to help guide you along your own free will choices. I struggled with this a lot. I struggled with this when I was 23, and I struggled with this 23 years later when I was 46. I struggled with it a lot. Should I become a priest? Should I become a monk? Should I? Am I supposed to be a monk? Am I supposed to be a priest? Okay, or a friar, or a canon, or a brother, or whatever, okay? Orthodox, Catholic, Buddhist, I'm talking, and Anglican, I'm talking to you. If you're considering this, if you feel, as they say, the hounds of heaven at your heels, what I would suggest you do is, first of all, understand that you do not have to do this. You can choose to do this, or you can consent or assent to do this if you genuinely feel that you are being asked by God or called by God. But God, divinity in general, God respects your free will and never forces or pushes or demands you to make a choice of this or that. Never. That high pressure, stressful, pushing energy type of voice in your head that says you've got to do this or else you're not good enough. You've got to do this or else you will have missed your destiny. You have got to do this or you are outside of God's will for you. You are off your path, etc. This is not God. This is not even your soul. This is ego intellect, interference, confusion. Dismiss it. It's very convincing, but false. You cannot be off your path, for every footstep you land and place is your path. Even when it twists and turns and winds around and is confusing and you seem lost sometime, you are walking your path. Always ask, what is the lesson? What am I learning? Now, I will tell you two personal stories. I visited and stayed at, I did time at 10 monasteries. Roman Catholic, Orthodox Christian, Zen Buddhist, and Theravada Buddhist. I mean, I did the full spectrum. Of all of them, there were two that felt like, yeah, I could probably do this here. One was Roman Catholic and one was Zen Buddhist. So go figure. But what I eventually learned is that there were motivating drives and beliefs within me and presuppositions within me that were pushing me to do this, to feel that it was necessary that I do this, to maintain the belief that this is what I am supposed to do, because if I do that, I'm a good man. And if I don't do that, I'm a failure, I'm a bad man. So I need to do that to redeem myself because I'm not a good man. But if I do that, that will make up for a lot of it, and then I'll be a good man. And you know what? Then I'll be worthy of God's love. You see, if I just struggle and strive through this incredibly disciplined, hard life of abstinence and poverty and extreme minimalism and everything else as a penance for how bad a person I am, that kind of makes it easier to be loved by God and to feel able to receive that love on my end, because of course I'm not worthy as I am. I need to earn it. And in fact, I need to struggle and strive really hard to earn it. And then I'll be good enough. Then I can receive, not all of it. Who am I? Who am I to say that I'm automatically, completely valid and inexpressibly loved as I am, for who I am, unconditionally, eternally, immeasurably, and unstoppably by the creator of all that exists, manifest and unmanifest. Who am I to say that I'm good enough? Who are you not to? Is the better question, by the way. If our supreme creator deems you worthy, by the way, I shouldn't even have said that, deems you unconditionally loved, there's no question of worthiness in the first place. It's not an issue with God. God loves us because of who God is, not because of who we are. So scratch that I even used the word worthy. It's a mistake to have used it. There is no issue whatsoever of worthiness in the first place. It is so. Why? Not on your merits, not on your failures and your perceived successes in your spiritual path, but because of the nature of God being absolute pure love. And absolute pure divine love loves everything purely, absolutely, and divinely because of what it is. And that's what God is. So there was this sense of needing to earn and work really hard and struggle and suffer to earn, because then it'll really be valid. Then it'll really be worth it. The other thing is that, like I said about the path, what does God have in store for me? What is God's plan for me? Now, I'm going to go against a lot of religious teachings that you will hear out there by saying this, but God doesn't, I don't believe, and my experience has demonstrated that God does not have a plan for you as to what you are supposed to come here and do and be and all that. The only thing I could say that might fit the answer to that question is God is not concerned with what you do. God is concerned with how you be, how you are being. What are you being? What is your awareness? What is your consciousness? Are you moving toward or away from being pure love? Not what occupation or role or even vocation you may choose. And you have every right to choose such a vocation in a religious order or not. And guess what? It has no bearing whatsoever on your humanly perceived degree of worthiness. It's an illusion. Or how much God loves you, or how good of a person you are, etc. There have been many, many spiritually enlightened gurus walking this earth, and they have been trash collectors, poets, painters, teachers, gardeners, hermits, seamstresses, everything. Do you know why? Because it doesn't matter what vocation or occupation you engage yourself within. If you become a nun or a monk or a priest or a deacon or a brother, etc., 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 that is not what you are. That is what you are doing. It's a role that you are serving, a function in God's infinite body that you are functioning as. You are serving that purpose. In other words, I am a monk is technically not accurate. I am being a monk, much more accurate. I am serving in the role of monk, perfectly accurate. See the difference? And monk, priest, nun, canon, friar, brother, whatever. So when I went to the monastery where I spent a month, because I was really seriously considering this one, My beloved mother, who is a living saint beyond all description, and I say that not because she is my mother, but because I see that she is this, slipped a note in my stuff in my travel bag, and I found it. And you know what it said? I'm going to share it with you. And she said, "Be strong enough to say yes, and be honest enough to say no." Be strong enough to say yes, and be honest enough to say no. If you are being compelled to enter the religious life because of forces and beliefs that are originating in a sense of inadequacy or in a sense of owing or being less than or needing to make up for, this is toxic. You will be miserable and you will probably fail in that role ultimately. You will certainly not enjoy it. But if you are freely choosing it as an option, just like any other equal option on the table that you're considering what to do with your life, now you are released from that illusory and toxic drive, which is false and does not come from God or soul, but from ego and other sources that would like to steer you astray. So if you choose to enter a religious life as a way to serve, and you know that you don't have to, but you truly want to, go ahead and do it. If it works out for you, fantastic. You have found your place within humanity to serve. If it doesn't work out for you, you know because you tried it. But never feel that you are supposed to, or you must, or you have to, or that if you don't, you are a bad person or a failure, because you are not. And I will conclude with what God directly said to me when I fell flat onto the floor, prostrate, and begged for the answer, what should I do? Should I enter into the monastic life and be a priest monk or not? Just tell me and I'll do it. But I need the clarity. And there were 3 days of what I will call a silent presence. You could say a pregnant pause. I knew God was there, but he was as if looking down and not speaking a word. 3 days. And the answer finally came up within me like a wellspring into the soul, which is how I get those responses. And the answer was, I do not choose for you. I have invited you to consider this choice if you so choose to. Choose whatever feels right in your heart, and I will bless that. So you see, God did not tell me what to choose. God reminded me how to choose. Free yourself from the false, toxic burden of believing that you must do it because you are not good enough and you need to compensate somehow to earn God's love, which is not earned, which really means earn your own love, which is even deeper than that. That underlies even the other illusion. And after all that is cleared from you and you are free and buoyant and light, if it is the life that you want to live, to serve in that capacity, then go for it and see if it works out. But you'll know either way because you did it. And you didn't do it by force of compulsion from illusory, false, unconscious beliefs and programmings. So I remind you, as my own beloved mother said to me, have the courage to say yes and have the honesty to say no.